It's May 14, 2012, Justice done dirt cheap. Just want to share some thoughts regarding a lawsuit I had filed against the Sheriff's Services in New Brunswick. What's interesting is most people do not know the statutes and acts that provide jurisdiction in many of these government bodies. I just want to share with you that the Sheriff's Act of New Brunswick is what provides the jurisdiction for the Sheriff's Services to do what they do, which is they are the strong arm of the law. They enforce court orders. Whenever a judge writes an order which requires someone physically going to do something, the Sheriff's Services, the agents for that department will go out and actually do it. If a court order is written to evict someone from a building, the Sheriff's Services do it. If there's an order for seizure and sale, the Sheriff's Services do it. Now how that comes into my affairs is October 20, 2009, there was a without notice ex parte court order written in the Moncton courts. It was written by Justice Zoel R, Dionne, and like I said, it was an ex parte without notice order, which is highly unusual. See, judges are supposed to get both parties before them, and only after hearing full argument from both sides do they then have the choice to make an order. That's only after learning all the facts that are relevant, hearing all the argument, after careful consideration. And what happened October 20, 2009 was that I wasn't told that there was a hearing occurring. I didn't know about it. I didn't attend. And by the time I found out about it, it was too late to attend. I called the courthouse to say, hey, I just found out about this. I'm not going to be making it. I can't get from Fredericton to Moncton. I don't have enough time to do that since the court hearing is actually happening right now. And I was told, well, do whatever you can to get here. It's kind of too bad. So what usually happens in such circumstances is the judge will write an order basically commanding someone to appear at another hearing. That's what I was fully expecting to happen, was the judge was just going to sign an order instructing me to actually appear at another scheduled hearing. I learned that from a couple of lawyers that I called just to find out what happens in these circumstances. And unfortunately for me, it didn't happen like that for me. The judge actually went ahead in a very unusual fashion, made a court order that instructed Sheriff's Services to vacate me from one of my residences. Now, I called Court Services after the hearing was done and asked them what the order was. They refused to tell me. I left messages with the lawyer who was actually at the hearing, Solicitor George H. Leblanc. I spoke to his assistant, Candy Leblanc, who both work at Cox and Palmer, to find out, well, what does the order say? Please let me know. And I was refused information regarding the order, and surprise, surprise, October 23, a Friday, October 23 at 11 a.m. I get my door kicked in by the Fredericton Police Force and Sheriff's Services. Now this surprised me, because I wasn't told beforehand that I'd be asked to leave. Now, when this occurred, I produced my lease for the people who kicked in my door, and I showed them that I had a lease to both parts of a duplex. Now what's interesting is knowing that I had the lease and taking a look at the court order that was presented to me. When I read it over, I found that only one side of the duplex was actually indicated on the order. So what I did was right away instruct the Sheriff's Services that the order does not affect me where I was, because they actually kicked in the door to an address not actually indicated on the court order. So I went ahead to explain to them that I was aware that the Sheriff's Services do not have jurisdiction to enforce an order that doesn't actually say what they're trying to do, and in this case they are trying to enforce an order that didn't actually exist, seeing as how they did not have a court order to evict me from the side of the duplex they had actually kicked in. When I read the order, it read 29, and they actually kicked in the door to 31. And so I pointed to the numbers on the door and I said, here we are, we're in 31, or I'm in 31, you're outside of 31, having just kicked in the wrong address. So I need to let you know you're at the wrong place. So I went ahead to instruct them that they're at the wrong address, and despite my argument and lengthy explanation, they decided not to listen to me. They went ahead and threw me out of my residence, which was not indicated in the order. And because of that, the Sheriff's Services are liable for damages to me. So that's why I filed a lawsuit seeking redress of my grievances and seeking to be made whole from being damaged by the Sheriff's Services who acted inappropriately. I'll provide more information on that story in the second part of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll continue on in part 2. This is Justice Zoel R, May 14, 2012 in Fredericton, New Brunswick.